My name is Hannah and this is my sister Alyssa. I'm 9 years old and I live in Brisbane with my mum, dad, sister and our dog named Mitzi. I am really excited we could come to the ball tonight. About 2 years ago, I started to notice that I was feeling tired and sore after my dancing classes. My mum has FSHD, so she thought my muscles might be like hers. She took me to the doctors to have some tests done. After getting me to do different tests, like pushing and pulling to see how strong I was, our doctor told us he thought I had FSHD. I had a blood test, but the first blood test was not done properly, so I had to go back and have another one. My doctor says that I have FSHD, but we are still waiting for the results. It has taken a long time. I love my friends and family. My friends are happy to go play in the library at lunchtime instead of playing running games. I have learnt dancing since I was 3, including ballet, jazz, tap, hip-hop, contemporary and acro. This year, I stopped doing ballet because I found it made me too sore. My dancing teacher, Miss Lauren, has made up a special signal I can give her when I need to have a rest or change activities. I'm glad I can still dance and I want to keep dancing. I also love horse riding. My horse Bailey is very patient with me. It is hard for me to get on him, but he stands very still for me, which makes it easier. My legs and back get sore from riding if I do it for too long, but I love being able to ride. I still look like I can walk normally or do most things, but most people don't know or understand the pain that I feel inside. If Mum and I had muscles that worked well, we would go to the beach together and have lots of fun. We don't go to the beach often because it is really hard for us to walk on the sand. The best thing about Mum having a wheelchair is that we get to skip lines for theme parks. I can see how FSHD has affected Mum over the years, but I'm pretty sure that there's going to be medicine to help both Mum and I soon.
Well done.
Oh, wait.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a very proud mum right now. Thank you, Hannah, for being such a brave girl. And to Alyssa for being a great support for your little sister. I feel honoured to be welcomed back to speak at the Chocolate Ball again. I was diagnosed in my early 30s and I was a mother of 2 young girls. Living with a progressive condition can be like holding a ticking time bomb. You know it will go off and you know what's ahead, but the timing and the exact unfolding of events is uncertain. FSHD is such a variable condition. I have a mild case compared to a lot of my friends that have FSH. I'm grateful that I can still stand and walk for short distances with a walking stick. I can still swallow. I have no trouble with breathing, and I can still hold a cup of tea. They may sound like simple things, but many of my friends with FSH can't do them, so I'm grateful. But then my progression has still impacted my life quite substantially. I have no hamstrings left at all, and I have bilateral foot drop, so I can't lift my toes when I walk. I fall easily, and then I can't get myself off the ground again. I have very poor core and lower back muscles, which results in a lot of pain because I have bulging discs in my spine. When I spoke at the ball in 2015, I was nervously anticipating a shoulder operation that was needed to stop my shoulder from dislocating. It would just fall out of place while I was sleeping at night. The operation would result in me moving from my manual wheelchair to a motorised one, and I was dealing with all the logistics involved, such as the need for a new car. I never anticipated the kindness that I would experience after my speech. An amazing man donated a beautiful, brand new, wheelchair-converted car to me. I hope he knows what a difference he made to my family. His gift to us changed our life, and we will never forget it. I had the surgery mid-2015, and it's been very successful. I did have to start using my motorised wheelchair, but I love it. It gives my legs a break, it gives me freedom, endurance, and I can get out and do the things that really matter to me. I spoke at the ball last time about how FSHD has impacted my marriage, now that my husband Rob is also my carer. He's still by my side, standing side stage, waiting for me, and his support to our daughters and to me never falters. My struggles with FSHD don't make us immune to other difficulties though. In 2016, it was my turn to be the strong one in our marriage because Rob was diagnosed with lymphoma, blood cancer. We got through that difficult time together, even managing to pop down to the 2016 chocolate ball, mid-chemo cycle. I'm pleased to say he is now in remission and doing really well. When I was diagnosed, the hardest thing to process was the idea that this was a genetic condition, and that meant I may have passed it down to my daughters. Each of our girls has a 50% chance of having the disease, and we were told that the signs to look out for included delayed milestones as babies. At that time, neither of the girls had shown any sign of the disease, and I was desperately hoping that they had not inherited it. I had reflected on Hannah's babyhood. She walked at only 8 months old, and I really thought that that was a sure sign she didn't have FSHD. We now know, or think, that Hannah likely didn't crawl for long because it was hard on her hips and core muscles, and being the determined little thing she's always been, she just up and walked instead. 2017 arrived, and we started to notice signs of FSHD in Hannah. She wasn't able to run as well as she used to, and dancing was getting harder for her. She complained of sore legs and arms, and she stopped wanting to ride her bike because her arms ached holding them up on the handlebars. Those signs were subtle, and I don't think we would have picked up anything was wrong if we didn't know about my condition, which is why so many people with FSHD are diagnosed later in life. As much as the possibility of her having FSH terrified me, I knew that we had to know, and we started the long road to diagnosis. Our GP has known me about 20 years. He looked after me through both pregnancies, through my own diagnosis, and Rob with his cancer battle. And I remember the day I first told him that I thought Hannah's muscles weren't working properly. He examined her, and when he turned to speak to me afterwards, his eyes glistened with tears. He told me that he didn't want this for her, but she appeared to have FSHD. And the neurologist agreed with him, and she was clinically diagnosed in 2017. The next step was to confirm with a genetic test, but to do this has been difficult. The first genetic test wasn't done properly and had to be re-performed. Now we are more than 2 years into this diagnosis journey, with probably at least another 6 months to wait ahead of us. And until then, Hannah isn't able to access any formal supports or funded therapy. She hasn't been granted access to the NDIS, even though FSHD is a condition that's automatically accepted. A genetic diagnosis for her won't provide comfort, but it will provide certainty, and it will help her access the support that she really needs. I can handle my own diagnosis. It's taken some adjustments, and the progressions are tough as they happen. But as a mother, I find the process of accepting my daughter's diagnosis much harder. Watching her in so much pain that she has to get up during the night and take hot showers to find relief, Knowing that she's had to cut back on her dancing, something she absolutely loves, I feel helpless. I want to fix it for her and I can't. I felt tremendous guilt at the thought of passing this on to her. We also still don't even know if our eldest daughter Alyssa has FSHD. She hasn't displayed any symptoms at this point, so we've decided not to test her yet. Some people have asked if whether I had known that I had FSHD, would I have chosen to have children? To answer that question, I look at my girls now, FSHD or not, and I wouldn't even for a second want to imagine a world where they didn't exist. So no, I don't wish that we did anything differently. It would be a boring world if we were all the same, and I hope that Hannah always knows that a faulty gene doesn't limit her, doesn't define her, and doesn't devalue her. Hannah and I share a special kind of camaraderie sharing this disease. We really understand each other. FSHD has also shaped my life in some incredible ways. When I was diagnosed, I was working as an accountant. I've changed my career now and have started working in the disability field as the Manager Accessibility Planning and Governance at Queensland Rail. I love my job and feel like I do something worthwhile every day. FSHD has inspired me to take on some public speaking opportunities. My speech at the 2015 ball was the first time I ever spoke in public. And since then, I've had a few opportunities to speak about accessibility, disability, FSHD, and I feel that each time I've been able to change someone's perception about disability, diversity, and inclusion. And that's a pretty fantastic feeling. I've met some amazing people on my FSHD journey. I feel like we're a family because we just get each other. The support I receive from the foundation has been wonderful. Through Hannah's diagnosis journey, they've helped me understand all the scientific jargon and know what questions to ask. Having people to lean on and talk through these times is so important and has been so appreciated. So I thank Bill, Natalie, Danielle, Tanya and all the team at FSHD Global for being so personally invested in your work. The foundation has been true to their mission in funding world's best medical research to find a treatment or cure. I'm now a proud ambassador for the foundation, a role that I'm honoured to have. I've come to recognise the chocolate ball as the greatest night of my night each year. Beautiful Lindt chocolate, Moet flowing, being spoilt with the beautiful food put on by Luke. Normally we get hugs from Jamie, so hopefully we get a cuddle from Katrina tonight. And time with these wonderful people, and most importantly, leaving with an uplifted spirit. We need a cure not just for me, for Bill, for our speakers from previous years, like Claire, who should be here tonight but is in hospital with pneumonia, Tracy, Tanya, our friend Justin, our friend Paul, and a cure for the many children we love who are dealing with this dreadful disease, my little Hannah, Rachel and Marcel's son Mitch, Michelle and David's son Maddie. Our FSHD community may not have the numbers that the government needs to justify medical research, but we sure do have people worthy of help and who deserve hope. So thank you all for coming along tonight and for giving generously. We leave tonight filled with uplifted spirit and hope. And I hope you leave here tonight feeling fantastic, knowing that you have made such a difference to our FSHD community. Have a wonderful night and enjoy. Thank you.